Hi everyone. Most people don't experience new and unusual things very often. Unless you're an adventurer like Indiana Jones style, your life is likely a repeated routine, especially these days. But don't get upset, because we have a way to cheer you up. Today, we'll be showing you amazing things that you've probably never seen before. Ready to take a look at them? Then, let's get it on. Bee music. To create electronic music, people use a variety of sounds, so why not use bees to be more creative? The British artist, musician, inventor, and beekeeper Bionise Samp creates various beats and melodies with the help of homemade synthesizers, protective clothing, and beehives full of bees and honeycomb.
The queen is a high-pitched sound.
The total number of insects participating in Samp's musical experiments is about 100,000. Performing with such a team would be quite problematic. However, Samp started making bee music to address an environmental issue. He wanted to emphasize the fact that bees have been dying at an alarming rate throughout the world. This is actually quite a frightening situation. Bees are much more important for our planet than it might seem at first glance, and Samp decided to do everything in his power to raise awareness of this issue. Tree of 40 fruit. Can two kinds of fruits grow on one tree? What about 3 or 40? Doesn't sound realistic, but actually there is such a tree. Of course, it wasn't designed this way by nature, a human invention was required. Sam Van Aken, an artist and professor at Syracuse University, decided to create a tree which bears 40 different varieties of fruits. What did you dream of as a child? Making his dream come true was not easy. Sam used the chip grafting technique, which involves slicing a bit of a branch with a bud from a tree of one of the varieties and inserting it into a slit in a branch on the working tree. Over 5 years, he added 40 branches from other trees to the working tree, including almond, apricot, cherry, nectarine, peach, and plum. In the spring, the tree of 40 fruit has blossoms in many hues of pink and purple, an amazing sight. The tree was originally conceived as an art project, but in the end, Sam's achievements proved useful for agriculture. Lemon caviar. What? Yes. Well, there is actually such a thing. Of course, lemon caviar has nothing to do with fish caviar. It only looks similar in shape. In fact, we're talking about finger limes. These are citrus plants that grow in tropical and subtropical forests of Australia. Unlike other citrus fruits, finger lime pulp is divided into many small round sections filled with juice. They're not connected in any way and look very similar to fish caviar. Finger limes taste somewhat like a lemon or a regular lime, but a little sour. Since the 90s, this fruit has become increasingly popular. At first, it was used to make jams and exported as exotic fruits. And you know, we'd like to try this lemon caviar. How about you? The most expensive shoes. How much can really expensive sneakers cost? A few $100s? A couple of thousand? Tens of thousands? Nike Moon shoes were sold at auction for $575,000. This made the pair of sneakers the most expensive shoes in the world and secured them a place in the Guinness Book of Records. These sneakers were specially designed for runners for the 1972 Summer Olympics in Munich. They're one of 12 pairs ever made, so yeah, they are quite a collector's item. The most important thing about these sneakers is the so-called waffle sole, which provides a reliable grip on the surface. By the way, the initial price of the sneakers was $160,000, still a lot, but the buyer, a Canadian collector named Miles, paid almost 3 times the starting price. Skull plants. Snapdragons are one of the most famous perennial herbaceous plants. Beautiful, colourful flowers. What could be better? But we don't recommend looking at them in a dried state. Unless, of course, you enjoy being scared. The fact is that when the flowers dry and fall off, the seed box starts to look like a small skull. This isn't a joke or a Photoshop. The flowers really turn into small decorations for a horror movie. The longest running film. Many people like to re-watch their favorite movies. Some even make it a tradition. But could you enjoy watching the same movie for 23.5 years over and over again, every single day? It seems impossible, but there is a cinema just for that. It's called the Maratha Mandir Theatre, and it's located in Mumbai in India. It was opened on October the 6th, 1958 and has 1,000 seats. But it's not as important as one of the movies it plays. Since 1995, every day at 11:30 6:30 a.m., they show the movie The Brave-Hearted Will Take Away the Bride. As of September 2019, the film has been running continuously for 1,230 weeks at the cinema, and every day someone comes to watch it. It's not surprising that the cinema's become one of the attractions of Mumbai. Giga Pearl. We all know pearls are small, beautiful things used to make jewelry. In most cases, that is true, but sometimes nature surprises us. Abraham Reyes is the owner of the largest pearl in the world. It weighs 27.65 kilograms. The Giga Pearl is creamy, and it's about the size of a baby. Reyes was keeping this family relic in the safe after he inherited it from his aunt. Surprisingly, no one in the family really knew what the strange white stone was, and no one certainly expected that it could be a pearl. To find out the truth, Reyes went to experts, and they confirmed that the stone was actually a huge pearl that could cost from $60 to up to $90 million. However, no one is thinking of selling a family relic. Reyes is going to exhibit the pearl in a museum so that the whole world would know about its existence. Extreme ironing. Want to hear about more absurd sports? How about extreme ironing? According to its rules, people bring ironing boards to the most remote places in the world and iron clothes there. Fans of the sport call it the only dangerous sport that combines the thrill of extreme outdoor activities with the satisfaction of a well-pressed shirt. In recent years, the contestants have been ironing their clothes in the most unexpected places. For example, in Antarctica, during a kart race, or while skydiving. The level of insanity only depends on the imagination of the person who loves extreme ironing. You could iron in a tree, underwater, in the middle of Times Square. You can do it anywhere you want. The most important thing is to bring an ironing board with you. Honey guide birds. Over the centuries, people have domesticated and tamed many different animals. Many of them were used to help find food, for example, dogs, falcons, and cormorants. There are also animals that help people search for wild honey. And no, we're not talking about bears. Meet the Big Honey Guide, a bird known for its ability to lead people to wild bees' nests in the woods. The honey guides live in Africa and feed on what they can find in the ruined bee nests, including beeswax. By the way, honey guides are one of the few birds that can digest honey. They also eat flying insects like termites as well. But don't think that people use these birds selfishly. The cooperation is beneficial to both sides. Honey guides even call people with a special signal, showing them the way to the bee colonies. The people drive away the bees with smoke and then share the spoils with the birds. Golf ball diver. Is it possible to combine golf with diving? As strange as it may sound, it actually is. There is even a profession of a golf ball diver. According to some data, an estimated 1 billion balls are manufactured every year. Many of them are lost during games after falling into different bodies of water. There are 4 to 12 ponds on a typical golf course. The balls just can't be left there, can they? This is what a golf ball diver is for. They dive into the water, collect the lost balls, and resell them. And this is a surprisingly profitable occupation, although not the safest one. The pond is not the best place for diving because you can't really see anything there. That's why many golf ball divers work in a team. Oh yes, don't forget about the dangers of wildlife. For example, alligators. They often crawl out on the golf courses and probably wouldn't be happy to see a person in their pond. Surfacing too quickly. You probably know that if you surface too fast from a great depth, it can end up badly. Decompression sickness is a terrible disease that can lead to paralysis or even death. So, Alejandro Ramos Martinez was in some way lucky. He survived a horrible case after surfacing from a dive, though he was still horribly deformed. This Peruvian fisherman was collecting sea creatures from the sea floor when he decided to rise to the surface. Why? What for? Well, we'll never know. His nearly fatal error was to rise through the water too fast, causing the nitrogen in his blood to form enormous grotesque bubbles, and all of a sudden the man turned into the Hulk. He didn't actually get the strength or the green skin, but now he has to do regular medical checks and suffer very severe pain while the doctors remove the nitrogen from his body.